Hi, this is Rich Bourne with Cruiser Services. I'm the U.S. distributor for Schenker Watermakers, and this is number 2 video in our series. We're going to be reviewing all of the various components that come with the Schenker Watermaker. So we're now looking at, and we're kind of following the plumbing from the through hole, which is on the boat, to the raw water strainer that we talked about in our first video. Here in video 2, we're going to talk about this simple T, but it needs to be plumbed properly and mounted properly. So let's talk about what it does, why it's in the system, and what to think about when you're going to do the installation. So first, it is a check valve. This is a serviceable check valve. You can put a couple of wrenches on each side here, and there's an O-ring gasket here to separate this in half. So you can service it, clean it, if something was to get jammed in it, seawater wise. So it always needs to be mounted vertically, and there's even an install vertical sticker on this check valve because the check valve is going to float here. On the flow plumbing is you want to go from your through hole raw water strainer into the bottom of this check valve device. So seawater is going to flow up. It doesn't matter which right or left side we use here for these two next connections, but they're just going to be, it's however it works on your boat. One side is going to the inlet of your feed pump. The other side is coming from the outlet of your activated carbon filter. So this T is set up so you can do a freshwater flush of your Watermaker without the fresh water exiting out the through hole. So when you hit the freshwater flush button on the Watermaker, a solenoid opens, pressurized galley water from your ship's system flows through the carbon filter to remove chlorine. It then flows in to this T. It can't go backwards out the through hole. All of it is pushed into the feed pump for the Schenker Watermaker. So that happens during a freshwater flush or when you're using the fresh water to prime the system. See, something most people don't realize or pay attention to, when you hit that start button on the Schenker Watermaker, for about 5 to 7 seconds, the freshwater flush solenoid opens, helps push water in to keep that pump primed and to help the pump get prime if it's lost its prime. So every time you hit start, you get a little flow of fresh water through, just for about 5 to 7 seconds until it helps prime it if it needs it. Then the solenoid shuts on the freshwater flush activated carbon filter, and then it's pulling in pure seawater. So you don't want to mount it at some weird angle because you want this check valve to function properly. And again, there is no inlet or outlet fitting here. So whichever way you need to plumb this, this could go off to the feed pump and the carbon filter could come in this way. It's just a universal direction T here on top. The important part is seawater needs to enter the bottom. Of course, that's clearly shown in the manual layout diagram as well, but I know how it is. I'm a boater. Not everyone always studies that manual, so it's worth noting here in the video. So on our next video, we're going to look at the activated carbon filter, what it does, how it works. We'll go into some detail there. But this, like your raw water strainer and like your feed pump, need to be mounted preferably below the water line, in the worst case at the water line for the diaphragm pumps. If you have the Procom pump, the pump itself needs to be safely below the water line. And we'll talk about why when we review the pumps. So on to video 3.